Hi everyone! Today I am going to make some tickets. I saw these really cute adhesive tickets in the new Dear Lizzy Lovely Day collection. The ones I just showed you were the ones I made, and these are the actual ones in the Lovely Day collection. For my tickets, I picked some pattern paper from old Dear Lizzy collections, and I think I picked some from other collections as well. But I picked colors that were similar to the ones that they ended up using in the Lovely Day collection. I found this punch in the clearance section at Hobby Lobby one day, and I thought it was really nice to have. So I thought it was a very versatile punch, and these tickets will work great with everything. So it was just coincidence that I had this punch and Dear Lizzy had created some adhesive tickets in her collection. So I thought I'd just replicate them by using this punch. And all you have to do is line up the edge of the paper to the edge of the punch. There are markers on both sides of the punch so that once you've punched a part of the paper, you can line it up to punch the rest of it and move your sheet down and create this long strip of tickets. I know not everyone's going to have this punch available, so I'm going to show you how to make them without a punch. You're going to need a paper trimmer, and I trimmed these tickets to match the punch created. They're approximately 1 1/8 in height and about 2 inches wide. So that strip of piece of paper is 1 1/8 inches wide. And now I'm taking a scoreboard and scoring the strip of paper at every 2 inches, and then taking my pencil to mark where every 2 inches is, so that I can take a hole puncher and punch out the corners of the tickets. For the ends, I punch out a little quarter piece, and then for the middle sections, I line up the punch to be half a circle. I drew the lines where the ticket ends so that I could line up where it would be halfway for the hole puncher. There really isn't any precision in this. I'm just eyeballing it to have it approximately halfway for the hole punch. You don't even need to do this part, but I just like having that decorative corner for the tickets. Make sure you do both sides and the corners are just a quarter of the circle because you don't have it connected to another ticket. This does take a lot longer, but this is just another way to create those tickets without having the punch. I will link below where you can purchase the punch on Amazon. For the piece that I used the punch, you can tell that there's these tiny little perforated dots on the ends of the tickets. And I decided to create that same effect on my paper trimmer tickets. And all I'm doing is taking a paper piercer and I'm poking 4 holes along the line of where I scored the tickets. I used the scoreboard earlier because I didn't have a spongy surface to poke into and I didn't want to poke into the table. So I just poked right into the scoreboard. I did take my pencil and erase those lines because I no longer need them now that I have poked my holes and scored the end of my tickets. My 2 strips of tickets aren't exactly the same, but they're very similar. As long as they have the ticket shape, I think it doesn't matter. Now that the paper tickets are ready, I need to decorate them. I decided I wanted to use some stamps from my stamp collection and chose some phrases that I thought were fitting for a ticket. I've already pre-punched some other colors like teal, pink, and white for my tickets. One way of decorating your tickets is to simply stamp with regular ink right on the ticket. I decided to use just a black ink. They actually look really nice with a simple sentiment on them. For the first ticket, I stamped Pretty Little Thing, then a Love You, and then I switched up some colors and stamped Hello with my gold ink. Then I used my gold ink again for You Are Sweet. The actual Lovely Day collection tickets have gold foiling, and I thought using the gold ink will mimic what Dear Lizzy's collection actually looks like. You don't even have to use black or gold. Those are the ones I just chose to use for my tickets. Another method is to use some embossing powder. I had some gold embossing powder and I thought I could gold emboss the sentiments onto the tickets as well. I really like this method because the embossing gives the tickets a little bit of texture, and it also definitely adds an extra shine to it after you do the heat embossing. To make the embossing easier for myself, I decided to stamp all the sentiments first with Versamark ink and then go and add in the embossing powder on top. Make sure you lay down a piece of scratch paper underneath your tickets so that when you pour out your embossing powder, you don't lose any of it and you can save the rest and put the rest back into the bottle after you've covered up the entire sentiment. Gently tap off your excess. Make sure everything is covered, and you'll be able to tell because you'll see your sentiment in the powder form. My method for getting the excess embossing powder back in the bottle is to fold the sheet in half and just funnel it back into your container. Now I'm using my heat gun to warm up the embossing powder for it to emboss. I use my little stick to hold it in place so that I don't burn my fingers. But I did realize after this I was heating up my cutting mat and it was starting to warp. So just be careful if you are heating over your cutting mat. It does end up affecting the mat underneath. I really liked how these turned out. I think they look a lot better than just a simple stamping with the gold ink. The embossing powder definitely adds the extra dimension to these tickets. Now you can just take your pair of scissors and trim them off where the perforated edges. These aren't made on any adhesive backing, but I figured I can just use my own adhesives to make it stick to the page. I had a lot of fun making these tickets. They're easy to make and a great addition to any page. I hope you enjoyed this video, so give me a thumbs up if you did, and if you have any comments or questions, please let me know. I hope you have a crafty day.